to Eat, Drink, Sleep. This is my podcast about the Indian food industry, the restaurant industry, the hotel industry, and of course the bar industry. And I am talking to you because you are not only a celebrity chef, but you're one who's worked through the industry. You know the trials and tribulations, and now you're one of the spokespersons of the industry. First, tell me, in your experience, what have you seen, especially in the last post pandemic years? What do you see happening in the food industry in India?
The conversation can be split three ways. One is, what do you see that's happening in terms of the broad overall tone and messaging? है ना? अगर उसकी पहले बात करें, the tone and messaging is more assertive, more unabashedly Indian, and more detailed. There is more to India. That's the tone and messaging now. The hyphenation before Indian, modern Indian, progressive Indian, वो जो hyphenation था Indian cuisine से पहले, वो hyphen हट गया है. अब हम Indian हैं, right? And that's one difference that I see in terms of tone and messaging. What do I see? The difference in terms of people. For the longest, the hotels were these magnets of attracting top talent, great manpower, because they provided that sense of security. They provided that feel of grandeur. They provided the budgets where your creativity could flourish, and you could express yourself as a creative person. That all these.
होटल
Hmm.
में नौकरी है, मेरा लड़का को होटल में नौकरी मिला है.
Secure, no? So it's a secure job, hotel mein naukri hai. So I think all those boxes have been checked in a much cooler way by restaurants. You know, also the need for security for a chef of today, the kid passing out today versus our times, you know. So the restaurants fit in for the modern chef as a better option than hotels. That is what has changed when it comes to live wire. You get, and I say that with all due respect to hotels, but uh, the game has changed, and we all need to sort of acknowledge it. Hotels will always have the Bukharas of the world can't go anywhere. The hotels will always have iconic restaurants, but the charm of the freestanding restaurant, the ability to express yourself, is attracting better talent than hotels today. I think that's the talent part. Tone ki baat kari, talent ki baat kari. The third part, that's sort of where we can um, index this change or this valuation, is the consumer, right? Now, for the longest, you had the consumer who was either learning quietly or um, who was quietly intimidated when he went to restaurants and he was told that something is cooked for 24 hours and this recipe has been, so he was either learning or intimidated. Today's consumer is neither intimidated, and it's very well traveled and well learned, and social media being the biggest reason for that, in my belief, along with obviously the freedom to travel, and the kind of money you put out in your average budget to travel. So आज के consumer ना उस learning curve पे है जो एक वक्त पहले था, और आज का consumer ना intimidate होना चाहता है. तो इसलिए concepts approachable, concepts inclusive और collaborative हो गए हैं, rather than authoritative and high-nosed, high-browed बोलते हैं ना.
And also, one more thing that I wanted to ask you, and this is something that I don't know, it's an observation which I'm trying to build on, which is that a lot of the younger chefs who are coming in 4, 5 years in the industry, I'm not talking about people who are 10 years also, their attitude is not one of profit. They want to do something else. And therefore, a lot of them are happy just doing one restaurant or doing one thing, but they want to. Are you seeing that? Are you seeing that level of exceptionalism. While there is a huge talk about people don't want to get into the industry because blah blah blah, but there are people who are coming in who are quite exceptional and quite focused. The young kids.
Absolutely. I mean, you look at the generation of Hussein, you look at the generation of Pratik.
Mm,
They are happy doing one restaurant, and that joy that they derive out of it is infectious. Sometimes it sort of makes me think, yeah, kitna kuch kyun kar raha hai, yaar? You know,
that's my
and
next
it's yeah,
question.
and this great joy that this infectious joy that they project on social media is great for the next generation because it allows them to. It's easier to focus on one place, start with a singular focus, and then later let life take you where it takes
And since you've worked a lot with food, you've done so much with your program. Um, there is a lot of research happening now in Indian food, but at the same time, a lot of food is dying out. Even stuff that we used to eat as kids. I mean, we were kids many years ago, but that's not happening anymore. So, what are you looking from that point of view? How do you think social media, people like you, people who are trying to get another aspect of the food, helping in maintaining and keeping the in for want of a better term, keeping the fires burning, the home fires burning, and making sure that there is, I mean, there is of course growth in regional food, but how do you think social media and people like you, or people who are not, who are more ancillary to the actual restaurant पे गया, खाना पकाया, खाना खिलाया, how are you guys helping in that? What do you think? Even people who run social media channels, there's some who have huge followings.
सो यार बहुत सीधी सी बात है कि um, the reason why we will never be the fear of being singular in a
Hmm.
marketing driven world. I think that's what you're trying to address.
Yeah,
There is
yeah.
a lot that will get lost because marketing is singular. You know,
Hmm.
you hop on one thing and then the rest of you just everything else sort of gets sidelined. Um, I always believe that the tendency of going against the grain
Hmm.
is human, right? And when things get too singular, there is going to be disruption that's going to always come. So in this marketing driven singular world, it's not as singular as it looks. It
Hmm.
leaves opportunities for going against the grain. It leaves opportunities for disruption. आप जितना मर्जी digital music बोल लें, vinyl will make a comeback.
Hmm.
So same goes for the skepticism that social media brings कि यार ये चीजें घर के चूल्हे जलेंगे कि नहीं जलेंगे, ये डिशेस जिनके बारे में बात हो रही है वो सर्वाइव करेंगे कि नहीं करेंगी. उसी मार्केटिंग के रोड पे ही गोइंग अगेंस्ट द ग्रेन और डिसरप्शन के एवेन्यूज हैं और वो अपने वक्त में अपने आप को प्रेजेंट कर लेंगे.
And so, when you look at the industry now, which is the direction that you see it going? What is it that is alarming you about it? What is it that makes you feel happy?
I think for me, maybe I'm old school, but what is alarming is the attrition.
Hmm.
Mm, and this sudden need to grow really fast. There is always, and I might be sound old school, but you have to give the dues.
Hmm.
And with in our industry, which is a skill-based industry, you got to be able to get to the green belt, get to the red belt, get to the black belt. You can't skip steps.
Hmm. So,
It's like the judos and the taekwondos and the cutlery parts of the world. You got to be able to prove yourself on one belt, get to the next belt. Abhi, just because a black belt is available
hmm.
doesn't mean you can wear it straight away. So I think वो जो attrition है और दूसरा the need to grow fast in a skill-based industry, which inherently requires you to prove yourself at each level and then quickly get on to the next level. I think that is alarming. Um, what I like about the industry, like I said, is the
Industry.
industry is it's younger, it's more nimble than what
Hmm.
it was. It is more. It loves taking way more risks than it could earlier. The amount of capital that is available to the industry is very encouraging. Um, and like I said, the unabashedness, responsible unabashedness that has come to the industry is what I absolutely love.
Do you think the industry is treating its people well?
I think they're making an effort now.
Mm.
When I go to hotels, old school hotels who have 5 day weeks and 9 hour 9 hour work days,
Mm.
and there is a conscious, honest effort of sticking to it. You know, mm, our times it wasn't like that. 16
Yeah.
hour was a work day and 7 day was a work week. So I think it's genuinely making an effort. Are we too late to board the bus? Have we missed a large chunk of talent because we were we were callous towards towards this generation? Fractionally, yes, but I think the charm of this industry will draw people in again.
So compared to India as a place to open a restaurant or abroad, and since this is because you have restaurants abroad, is it easier abroad? Is it, or does it have different challenges? What is it that you feel? Because there is a huge opportunity for people who are in the industry needing to go abroad now, because people are not working in the industry abroad, and Indians are known for being hardworking.
See, the industry has a lot of common challenges.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, but for the longest, I would say that for the longest, the challenge of policy that
Hmm.
existed in India, the gray in the policy. I think we live in a world today where there is genuine effort that has been made and a lot has been achieved when it comes to policy around restaurants. Whether you're opening a restaurant, operating a restaurant, I think I have to give it to the government to be able to, state and central governments, that there is a lot of clarity on on policy towards this business. Can it be better? Can it be a little more futuristic? There's always space, but are we in a much better space? I think we are. Food safety, I think we are at par globally when it comes to standards. The consumer is as good as anywhere else. The size of the market is huge. I think a little bit of, with again, I might be wrong, but a little bit of P&L rationalization is probably the only small hurdle that is left. Because when you look at real estate costs, sometimes it becomes difficult to rationalize P&Ls
Hmm.
in India. When you look at certain costs that sort of that run your whole Excel sheet amok. I think that's the part where sort of the industry and everybody around it needs to create a more sustainable and a rational P&L, especially with real estate and rentals.
Okay, now let me ask a Ranveer Brar question. What's
Hmm.
next for you? And if you had the opportunity to open a dream restaurant,
Hmm.
which city in the world, what would you be serving? What would you be cooking?
Ranveer
How many
Brar के
hours a day would
next,
you be working? Would be 5 days a week.
no, not even five. So
Right
Ranveer
now, also you're
Brar
working
के
7 days a week,
लिए
yeah.
Okay, so what's next for me is a book on poetry. I'm finally putting all of my poetry into a
Poetry,
book.
nahi.
हाँ, तो मैं अब लिखता हूँ, बहुत वक्त से लिख रहा हूँ, 40 साल से लिख रहा हूँ। तो वो किताब में डाल रहे हैं फाइनली एक, विद माय फोटोग्राफी. That's what I am working on. There's the second Kashkan that's coming here next month in Dubai, on Sheikh Zayed Road. My dream restaurant is in south of New Zealand, open only 3 days a week, only 20 seats, only me in the kitchen. You only get to eat what's cooked that day. And it's called Only.
So this is your retirement plan as well?
देखिए, अब रिटायरमेंट बोलते हैं तो ऐसा तो बुढ़ापे वाली फीलिंग आने लग जाती है, तो इसलिए उसको ड्रीम बोल लेते हैं फिर.
Okay, done. Okay. Well, thank you, Ranveer Brar, for this most wonderful, interesting conversation. Thank you for finally coming on the show. And we're going to see you soon.
Absolutely. You please take care, Vikram. Always have been a big admirer, and I've always cherished this friendship that we have. God bless, more power to you.